What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Games of Bacon here, and we're looking at 6.2 with the Warrior, and we're just going to go over a few things. There's really not a lot to talk about, kind of a little bit boring, but we'll have a look at it all anyway, and then have a discussion in the comments. Let me know what you think, let me know, blah blah blah, like, share, all that crazy good stuff. So, what have we got? Warrior. What is happening? What in terms of balance? Well, defensive stance is getting buffed slightly. We got 5% extra decreased damage, which is nice. And Gladiator's Resolve is receiving a mastery buff of 8%. Assuming that's correct. I'm slightly behind, but I believe that is just a straight up mastery gets increased by 8%. So that's kind of nice, but it's boring. It's just, hey, here's some extra stats for Gladiator. And here's a little bit for tanks, and Fury and Arms are apparently fine. I don't know if I would agree. They obviously know better, but, well, sometimes they don't. So, they've already said these patch notes are not complete, and that's fine. It just seems a bit weird that we have such a small amount of changes when other classes have a lot. I mean, look at the Warlock here. Everything's been changed slightly, numbers being tweaked left, right and center. But then again, Warriors are in a pretty good place, so we'll have to see. We'll see what happens in the future. If something changes, I'll make a video and bring it up. And yeah, so there's not much to talk about there. Now, one thing that is quite interesting is our tier 18 is out, and we can see the tier set bonuses, and I gotta say, I'm really hoping these aren't finished. The Arms Warrior has a 15% chance on Ren ticks to reset the cooldown of Mortal Strike, which is fine. That's pretty cool. And then the 4-piece is just Ren ticks 8% faster, which I guess is kind of interesting when you think that 30% faster ticks means more ticks, more chance for that 15% reset. But it's a bit bland. I don't know about you, but I know it's all about, hey, we need to boost damage, but I want something interesting. Like, I don't know, like have a your Mortal Strike now makes the target explode into bats. I don't know, do something interesting. Like, it's really boring. Again, the Fury pieces, when your Blood Surge is active, your Wild Strike crits have a 15% chance to crit, and they also deal 15% more damage. Kind of cool. It looks like they're trying to get rid of people taking sudden death, because it's just so prominent now. I don't know of anyone that doesn't take sudden death. And then the 4 pieces, when you Wild Strike crits, it reduces the cooldown of Recklessness by 20 seconds, which is huge. So again, it looks like they want people to really start taking Wild Strike over sudden death. And Relentless Strikes, is it? Anyway, you know, they want people to get rid of sudden death, and they're trying to make a push for Wild Strike being a bit more interesting. This kind of does the job. I'm not feeling like it's too bad. I'm going to really miss being able to execute and have those, like, 100, like, you know, that first burst at the beginning with Recklessness. But at the same time, I'm going to be able to have more bursts for Recklessness as a whole, due to the fact that I can reduce the cooldown by 20 seconds per Wild Strike crit, which is going to be, you know, like, loads. I mean, that's what our class is built off, right? We crit a lot, so we have 50% 50% increased chance to crit while Blood Surge is active, which is a fair amount, I believe. And not only is it hitting harder, but it's reducing Recklessness, and Recklessness itself makes us crit more. It's a whole circle of just massive damage, which is kind of cool. I don't mind that too much. I mainly like to play Fury, so I'm okay with that. I would like to be a bit more interesting again, but that works for me. That seems quite cool. And protection is, I really hope this isn't finished. This is the part where I'm like, okay, this needs to be not in the game at all. 2-piece, when shield block is active, the cost of shield barrier is reduced by 50%, and the 4 pieces, it's reduced by 25%. I assumed that may be the wrong way around. So like 50% would be the 4-piece and 25% would be the 2-piece. But even still, that is, I thought the arms one was boring. That is beyond just believable. It's so bad. I really hope that's part of the unfinished part of this build, and it's going to be changed, and it's going to be something interesting. Like, when you block, you explode into butterflies, because we don't want to be bats, we want to be pretty, and yay. Or Maybe you make a funny noise and everyone in your guild starts dancing. I don't know, like whatever. Something interesting. And I mean, obviously it needs to make a difference, but I want something appealing, something I can go, that is really cool, man. Like, that will increase the joy of you actually. It will maybe even change the rotation slightly, like the Fury one has. It'll be nice to do something different. Whereas this is like, oh look, I put shield block up and now I can shield barrier more, which yep, okay. So the other thing, the last thing really, there's not been a huge amount for warriors in particular in 6.2. There's tons and tons and tons of other stuff, but right now I'm just focused on the warrior stuff. So is the way the gear looks, and I'm kind of okay with it in a way. And the only reason I'm kind of okay with it is because the other classes stuff generally looks worse. So let's have a look at the normal gear, and we can see it's fairly bland. You've got some bladed shoulders that kind of remind me of, like, you know, tier 2 or something. You got a funny mohawk helmet, and we got our big like belt here, like, because we're warriors, so having a big dick is what we're all about. So that's about it. The rest of it is we got some boring gloves, we got some boring boots, and it looks very plain. I mean, the colors are kind of nice, I guess. Also, I've noticed there's 4 colors, meaning that LFR will be the same looking gear, most likely. I can see, you know, LFR 10, normal, heroic, and then I don't know what the other one would be actually. Because obviously the mythic gear is different, so God knows. Maybe it's like, I don't know, the Alliance get the blue one and the Horde get a red one. Maybe, and then I don't know, but we'll have to see. And then the mythic version is just, oh look, they've added some black stuff to the shoulders and the helmet. Other than that, literally identical. Nothing has changed. Very boring. I'm really hoping these have some kind of nice animation to make them slightly more interesting. Yeah, there's nothing really to that at all. I mean, it could be worse. We could be a hunter. Those poor hunters, they literally are... Their tier 18 is leveling gear. It looks bloody awful. Like, oh look, I've got some funky little pouches. And a hood that kind of looks like that guy from that game where he runs around being an assassin. Assassin's Creed. Even the textures aren't that nice. I mean, the boot, it's awful. Absolutely terrible. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, it says Hunter rough.jpg, so maybe these are like, yeah, we just started out and now we're going to be fleshing things out a bit. I don't know. I mean, the monk one, they look like homeless people. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm really hoping there's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of updates, and I really hope that you guys want to voice your opinions as well, because you can be like, if you're a hunter and you don't like that set, which I assume at least 80% of people won't, tell Blizzard, be like, hey, this looks like crap. Can you do something not crap? That would be brilliant. I would. I'd be like, oh wow, I'd be considering rerolling a different character. I probably wouldn't, but yeah. So that's about it for warriors. Like, we've had a look at the gear. We looked at the set pieces. They're kind of interesting. They're a little bit iffy, but we'll see what things are gonna progress into. So that's fine. And we've also looked at the changes, if you could really consider that changes as opposed to just a slight tweak. So yeah, hit me up on, I've got a new Twitter now. You can look at me on Twitter. All the links and stuff are going to be description, and I'll be tweeting like when I'm streaming and when videos are coming out and stuff. Just be a bit easier for you, I guess, if you're interested. And yeah, so thank you very much, guys. I will see you next time.